Hey everybody, my name is Alex Genovese. I'm a staff writer for the Daily Collegian, and I'm here to interview presidential candidate Prabhu Rajkumar and vice presidential candidate Ben Katzman. Thank you guys both for joining me today.
Thank you for having us, Alex. Hi, my name is Prabhu Rajkumar. I'm running for SGA president. I'm the chair of finance for the SGA, and I'm a sophomore.
Hi, I'm Ben. I'm running for vice president of the SGA with Prabhu. And I'm also an SGA and I'm also on the finance committee as vice chair. And yeah, I'm ready to get started.
Awesome. So my first question is, what are your policy initiatives?
Right, so I'll take this question. So we really have three main policy initiatives, right? So the first one is that we want to work with administrators to safely bring back in-person activities for the fall semester. This means we're going to have more in-person classes. We're going to be reopening the rec center safely. Indoor dining, we're going to be having that, expanding that to the dining halls that are not open and for Blue Wall as well. And also, hopefully, if all goes well with vaccinations and whatnot, we might be having tailgates this fall if we get elected. Again, this is all really dependent on working with the public health officials. We want to make sure that we stress the importance of safety. And, with vaccination trends and everything looking like we might be having a lot of people vaccinated, we should hopefully be able to have a lot more in-person activity in the fall if you get elected. And also, we want to be building a new wellness center. It's going to have more gym space. It's going to have a dedicated practice area for club sports teams. And it's going to have more mental health resources like counselors so that students can have resources for both their mental and their physical wellness. And last but most certainly not the least, we want to reform the conduct process. We want it to focus more on education rather than punishment. And we want to make sure that Amherst PD won't be reporting minor student conduct violations to UMass if they happen off campus. We don't want students to be punished by both the legal system and the school for a minor infraction that does not even occur on UMass property. We want to make sure that we are advocating for off-campus students. We want to make sure that minor infractions don't get punished twice, once by the legal system and then by the disciplinary system. So yeah, it's really the three main points: more in-person activities, new wellness center, and reforming the conduct process.
Awesome. Why do you think your ticket is the best team? Why should people vote for you? And what do you bring to the table?
Well, that's an easy question. We're the only candidacy group that actually cares about students. We strive to help every single student, no matter who they are. We don't care about actual politics. We care about students. Everything we do is based for students, not based on helping any non-UMass entity. We care about students first and foremost. We are actively going to be fighting all the issues that actually hurt students. There are so many of these issues, from inequality to justice and all the environmental stuff on UMass property, that it's ridiculous how many problems are affecting students.
And I could add on to that a little bit as well. So far, a lot of SGA candidates have really been focusing on their own agendas and their own futures beyond campus life. They've been focusing much more on that and way too little on what students really want and what students really need. We're the best ticket because we have both the experience with administrators to get stuff done, but we're also not part of that establishment, and we're not cut from the same cloth. We make promises that we could actually keep, which is very different from what our opponents have been doing. When we say something that we're going to do, we will do it. We will guarantee that. And so we're here. We are going to put the needs of students first, and we're going to be making sure that every promise we make, we will keep.
Thank you. And my last question is, how do you plan to support the entire student body, including students in different time zones, students in a variety of living situations, access to the internet, disability, or other challenges or vulnerabilities faced given the pandemic? How do you plan to support or represent the extensive student body specifically? How will you ensure that the SGA is an anti-racist organization?
Right. So I guess the biggest reasons that students in different time zones have trouble accessing UMass classes and other resources is because of virtual learning. That's why our campaign wants to significantly increase the number of in-person classes and activities offered for the fall semester. That way, there'll be a lot of people who are currently, in other countries and whatnot because of virtual learning. They'll be able to come back to Amherst or be in the Amherst area either on or off campus, and they will not have to worry about the time zones, et cetera, because they're going to be having that regular college experience. If everyone has the same classes, everyone's going to be in the same place. That'll take away the issues of time zones. That'll take away the issues of, Some people don't necessarily have the best home environment for education. Some people might not have internet access, whatnot. And we want to make sure that the pandemic and virtual learning has really just widened the gap between the haves and the have-nots. We want to make sure that this inequality does not continue to grow. And having everyone back on campus is a great first step to reducing that inequality, giving everyone the same level playing field. And also, we want to make sure that every student on campus feels represented. That's why our campaign is literally called Students First, because we want to make sure that needs of every student, no matter who they are, is going to be heard and is going to be represented. I personally am a first generation immigrant to America, so I have firsthand experience dealing with, the culture shock and just the transition of moving to a foreign country and, just learning everything differently. I believe that my experience with that will really help in how I'll advocate for students of color and also for immigrant students in general. And I think that myself and Ben, we've both experienced either racism on campus, off campus, or we've experienced anti-Semitism. And we know that we're going to be using our experiences with these things to advocate for students. And we're going to be working with student groups who represent a lot of diverse viewpoints. Want to make sure that we're advocating properly for that. I think Ben can also add on a little bit.
Yeah. We're definitely working with RSOs that are the backbone of this university. And the main job of the SGA is to work with our RSOs to get stuff done. And especially the cultural groups that are really working really hard to deal with the issues. I want SGA to actually work with them to unify all that together. And that way we can present a actual action plan to the administration that will actually result in change for UMass.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for sitting down with me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us.